Welcome to NSG 313 Prenatal Midwifery. Urinary tracts. Study section 6. Introduction. The urinary system is made up of three components which are listed from upper part of the body to the lower parts: kidney, ureter, bladder, and the urethra. All these four components are linked together by a tract. Hence, you will be learning about the urinary tract. The urinary tract begins at the two kidney, which is linked up to the blood supplied by the renal arteries and veins. It continues as a passage for urine in the two ureters, the bladder and the urethra. Therefore, in this study section, you will learn how to locate the position of all the components of the urinary system and their functions. Learning outcomes. At the end of this study section, you should be able to 1. Locate and describe the position, support, appearance, and microscopic structure of the kidneys. 2. Explain the functions of the kidneys. 3. Highlight the structure and functions of the ureter. 4. Draw the bladder and list its functions. 5. Identify the parts urethral and its functions. Position, support, and appearance. The kidneys are a part of bean-shaped organs found along the posterior walls of the abdominal cavity. The left kidney is located slightly higher than the right kidney because the right side of the liver is much longer than the left side. The kidneys are located posterior next to the peritoneum and touch the muscles of the back. A diagram: position, support, and appearance. The cross section of the kidney. Position, support, and appearance. A layer of adipose that holds them in place and protect them from physical damage surrounds the kidney. The kidney fiber excess ions and chemicals from the blood to form urine. The kidney is about 10 cm long, 6.5 cm wide, and 3 cm thick. The weight around 120 grams. The kidney has an outer region called the cortex and an inner region known as the medulla that consists of the nephron. The nephron is the functional unit of the kidney. Now, you will learn about the nephron. The renal pelvis is divided into 2 or 3 spaces: the major calyces, which in turn divide into further minor calyces. The wall of the calyces, pelvis, and urethra are lined with smooth muscle that can contact to force urine towards the bladder by peristalsis. The cortex and the medulla are made up of nephrons. These are the functional units of the kidney, and each kidney contains about 1.3 million nephrons. Diagram of the nephron. The kidney has a pale outer region, the cortex, and a darker inner region in the medulla. Take 2. The kidney has a pale outer region, the cortex, and a dark inner region, the medulla. The medulla is divided into 8 to 16 conical regions called the renal primates. The base of each primate starts at the corticomedullary border, and the apex ends in the renal papilla, which merges to form the renal pelvis, and then on to form the urethra. The nephron. The nephron is the unit of the kidney responsible for urethrophiltration of the blood and reabsorption or execution of products in the subsequent filtrates. You will now consider the components of the nephron. 1. A filtering unit, the glomerulus, 125 ml/minute of filtrate is formed by the kidneys as blood is filtered through the sieve-like structure. This filtration is uncontrolled. 2. The proximal convoluted tubule, controlled absorption of glucose, sodium, and other solutes goes on this region. 3. The loop of Ellen. This region is responsible for concentration and dilution of urine by utilizing a countercurrent multiplying mechanism. 4. The distal convoluted tubule. This region is responsible, along with the collecting duct that it joins, for absorbing water back into the body, leaving highly concentrated urine to flow into the collecting duct and then into the renal pelvis. The nephron is the unit of the kidney responsible for ultrafiltration of the blood and reabsorption or execution of products in the subsequent filtrates. You will now consider the components of the nephron. 1. A filtering unit, the glomerulus. 125 ml/minute of filtrate is formed by the kidney as blood is filtered through the sieve-like structure. This filtration is uncontrolled. 2. The proximal convoluted tubule, controlled absorption of glucose, sodium, and other solutes goes on this region. 5. Blood supply. The artery enters at the renal ileum and forms a glomerulus for each nephron. Blood is collected and returned via the renal vein. 6. Lymphatic drainage. Lymph vessels lie under the cortex and around the urine-bearing tubules. It drains into large lymphatic ducts, which emerge from the ileum and lead to the arctic lymph glands. 7. Nerve supply. Nerves enters by the renal ileum and provide a sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve supply. Functions of the kidneys. The kidney performs so many functions, some of which include: this takes place in 3 stages: filtration, reabsorption, secretion. Filtration. This is the simple process of water and the substances dissolved in it being passed from the glomerulus into the glomerular capsule because of the raised intracapillary pressure. Filtration increased in pregnancy as it also eliminates the additional waste created by maternal and fetal metabolism. Reabsorption. The body selects from the filtrate the substance which it needs: water, salts, and glucose. Minerals are selected according to the body's need. Secretion. Certain substances such as creatine and toxins are added directly to the urine in the ascending arms of the loop of Allen. Endocrine activity. The kidneys secrete two hormones. One, renin, is produced in the afferent arteriole and is secreted when the blood supply to the kidney is reduced, and in response to lower sodium levels on angiotensinogen, which is present in the blood, to form angiotensin, which raises blood pressure and encourages sodium reabsorption. The second hormone, entropropin, stimulates the production of red blood cells. Summary of functions. The functions of the kidney may be summarized as follows. Elimination of waste, particularly the breakdown products of protein, such as urea, urate, uric acid, creatinine, ammonia, and sulfates. Elimination of toxins, regulation of the water content of the blood and indirectly of the tissues, regulation of the pH of the body, regulation of the osmotic pressure of the blood, secretion of the hormones renin and entropropin. The ureters. The muscular layers is arranged as an inner longitudinal layer, a medial circular layer, and an outer longitudinal layer. The outer coat is of fibrous connective tissue, which is protective. It is continuous with the fibrous capsule of the kidney. Blood, lymph, and nerve supply. The upper part of the ureter is supplied similarly to the kidney. In its pelvic portion, it derives blood from the common iliac and internal arteries and from the urine and vesical arteries. Venous return is along corresponding veins. Lymph drains into the internal, external, and common iliac nodes. The nerve supply is sympathetic and parasympathetic. The bladder. Structure. The bladder is the urinary reservoir which stores the urine. It is convenient for it to be voided. It is pyramidal. Its base is triangular when it is full. It becomes more globular in shape as its walls are distended. Position. In the non-pregnant female, the bladder lies immediately behind the symphysis pubis and in front of the uterus and vagina. The intestine and peritoneal cavity also lie above. Diagram of the urinary bladder. The bladder. Structure. Its three angles at the exit of the urethral below and the two slit-like openings of the ureters above. The apex of the trigone is its lowest, is also termed the neck. Its capacity is around 600 ml plus or minus. Layers. The lining of the bladder is formed of transitional epithelium, which helps to allow the distension of the bladder without losing its water, holding effect the lining except which flatten out as the bladder expands and fills. Urethra. The urethra is the tube through which urine passes from the bladder to the exterior of the body. The female urethra is around 2 inches long and inferior to the clitoris and superior to the vaginal opening. In males, the urethra is around 8 to 10 inches long and ends at the tip of the penis. The urethra is also an organ of the male reproductive system, as it carries sperm out of the body through the penis. The flow of urine through the urethra is controlled by the internal and external urethral sphincter muscles. The internal urethral sphincter is made of smooth muscle and opens involuntarily when the bladder reaches a certain set level of distension. Diagram of urethral. A. Female urethral. B. Male urethral. The urethra in pregnancy. The hormones of pregnancy, particularly progesterone, relax the walls of the ureters and allow halation and kinking. It tends to result in a slowing down or stasis of urinary flow, making infection a greater possibility. The lining is formed of transitional epithelium arranged in longitudinal folds. The muscular layer is arranged as an inner longitudinal layer, a middle circular layer, and an outer longitudinal layer. The outer coat is of fibrous connective tissue which is protective. It is continuous with the fibrous capsule of the kidney. Study section summary. In this study section, you have learned that 1. The kidneys are a pair of bean-shaped darkened organs located along the posterior walls of the abdominal cavity. 2. The urinary system controls water and electrolytes, balance blood pressure, and fittings metabolic waste. 3. The ureter is a pair of tubes that carry urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder, which is a hollow organ that stores urine, which is voided through the urethra. 4. The urethra is the tube through which urine passes from the bladder to the exterior of the body. End of study section 6. Thanks for listening.